Hey everybody, it's your friend Sarmate here, and we're back with another episode of Settlement Survival. I hope you're having a fantastic and amazing day today. Check this out, our caravan is just about rolling into town here, so we're going to get our 7 citizens back. I was really worried that we were going to lose a bunch of them. And we will also be able to see how far we got with Lorenzo. Probably not level 1 yet. Yeah, we've got a little bit more work to do, so we'll have to do a couple more trips, but we'll be able to do that in time, of course. But I'm really happy to get those 7 workers back. We could really utilize them at this point. Our iron mine is nearly completed. I did pause it right at 246 out of 247 there, just because I wanted a couple more workers, and we got them. So let's go ahead and kick that back up. We also got somebody working in our pasture here. I did decide to go for turkey instead of another buffalo. I went with turkey because turkey is going to be primarily a food source. So we got 90 turkey last year, and if we look at geese, we had 54 last year, and then bison is a little bit better at 80. So I went with turkeys. I like those guys. We'll get a couple of those coming in, and they also have some more poop, which would be great because we are utilizing that for our domestic fuels. We could use a little bit more of that. So we got more poop coming in, more food coming in, and all that stuff will be great. And then here we go. We got our mine up and running. Excellent. So let's go ahead, like we said, set this one to iron ore, but I am going to take a bunch of people out of the iron ore, and I would like to put a couple more in the coal mine. So let's go with 2 more there, and we'll go 1 more in the quarry, just because we could use a little bit more stone coming in. Down over on the south end of town here, I did add in a couple more houses. We got a cut stone road coming in right in here, waiting on that cut stone right now, and of course the base stone in order to do that. So we got that happening as well, and then we have our fuel factory from the last episode. It isn't quite running yet. We don't have a ton of timber, but we're going to work on that in this episode here. So we have 1 tech point already. Let's go back to agriculture, and we're going to continue to work our way down this tree. We need 3 more points in total to get to Forest Farm. And once we get to Forest Farm, we are going to be able to make forests and grow our own trees and be able to harvest those and have a better source of wood coming in. So let's grab the grove. I don't think we have any seeds for this just yet, but we'll get it rolling. Let's see. Yep, no seeds for it. We need to keep our eyes peeled on our tooling and on our clothing. So I was thinking about adding in a couple more people into the smithy here, and then 1 into the tailor to see if that's going to be good enough to keep up with our demand right now. We got a little bit of ways to go here, so let's go ahead and we'll check on our tooling. So food, while we're here, let's just look at food. We are kind of in the green here, just barely, so that's good. Figured that one out at least. And then tools, yeah, we're consuming way more tools than we're producing. So if we add in 1 more worker, that's going to say approximately to 80, so we're still going to be short. We're going to need another smithy. Let's go ahead and look at clothing. And if we added another worker, that's going to put us to say 160. We should be good on clothing. So let's go ahead and we'll grab another smithy, and we will get this guy going as well. I think this is outside the range of our marketplace. It sure is. Great. So we'll get that built up. We'll get a worker in there, and then we should be all right with our tooling. And everything else besides that seems to be doing pretty well. Food is in the green. We just looked at that. Water is doing all right. Wood, of course, we know about that. And then stone is getting better. We got the quarry, so we're working on it. Iron ore, just got that. We talked about clothing. We talked about tools. And then our household goods, that being the domestic fuels primarily, and coal, of course. I want to work on more coal and more domestic fuels. More domestic fuels, of course, is going to require more wood. And hopefully we get that all addressed in this episode. Is what I'd like to do. We have been gathering things in between episodes, of course, continually doing that in the beginning of the game. And we also have some immigrants on the timeline, which would be great to get those guys in as well. We are probably going to want to add a couple more workers onto this farm, because if we have more people coming in, of course, we're going to need more food. Let's get that started up as well. So we're down to 6 laborers. That's pretty good. A good number to have at the beginnings here. I want to check our masonry stock here, cut stone stock. 28, great. So yeah, we could upgrade another one of our roads. I think I'm going to do that. Oh, we also got our apiary completed, and we got some honey coming in now, so great. That'll be another good food source, and we'll probably want to do another apiary so that we can start to have some beeswax, and we can make that into soap later. So we got honey for now. Maybe we can get another apiary for some beeswax. Now that we got that going, I'm going to go ahead and continue to just kind of gather up around here, get some trees cut up because it's that time of year where we can do that. And I'm going to wait for these immigrants to get here, wait for we get a couple more points, and I'll bring you back when those things happen. Welcome back, everybody. We just got our immigrants, and we're just now going to get the forest farm. So let's go ahead and get that technology learned and go back to our agriculture tab and grab forest farm. I think a good spot is going to be right up over in here. We have our quarry right in here, and I did just put in some roads up here to kind of make a little area for this. And I'm kind of thinking about going on the outside over in here and maybe doing some other types of industrially stuff up in this area. So let's go ahead and we'll get a forest farm started. I usually like to start with just 10 by 10s. Easy to manage and not too difficult to have enough people to work in those. So let's go ahead and let's start with 2. A couple other things that we were able to get, of course, was the nursery. And we talked about the grove. The nursery we didn't mention, so let's go ahead and we'll grab our nurseries. However, at this time, we don't really have anything that we can grow in the nursery, so we could absolutely get a couple of these placed, but we aren't going to really be able to do anything with them. So we'll put 2 down right there, so when we get those seeds, we can start them up right away. Yeah, so that didn't take very long for those forest farms to get cleared off, and they'll be done being built shortly. We have 14 laborers right now. We'll be able to easily manage 2 more people in those. We have another smithy, good to go. We're looking great for iron tools, sitting at 200, which is our cap. That's awesome. But it looks like our clothing isn't quite there yet. We may need to put in another tailor. And let's go ahead and do that. We can manage with the workers right now, so we might as well do it. Go ahead and plop that guy down right there and just take advantage of the little space that we have going on. So we'll get that guy placed in there like so. I have been going around in all these little nooks and crannies like right in here. I've been putting storage yards down. Just extra storage. We need the space, so I'm just providing it, basically. There we go. We got our forest farms good to go. Tree seeds, and this is only saying 1 worker in there right now, but I think I'm going to up that to 2. And there we go, 2 in each. Great. I would really like a warehouse up over in here for this stuff, but since we don't have that tech learned yet, which is kind of weird for me, I usually get that type of thing really quickly. We're just going to go ahead with our good old storage yards. We'll do an 8x6, that's fine. So now hopefully with this tailor up and running, we'll be able to be on top of our clothing. And we'll get on top of our wood here pretty quick, hopefully. And then stone should be okay here pretty soon. Let's also throw a couple of workers in the quarry. Let's go for 2. Get that happening. So we're sitting at 8 laborers. Not too bad. Now, remember in the first episode, I mentioned kind of keeping our eye on stress. So I noticed that we have 5% city stress. And that is, of course, having a negative effect on our fertility rate. So one thing I want to try and do to fight the stress is go ahead and get the small stone statue. Oh, this is a really good small one, only a 2x2. So yeah, this guy will fit in just about anywhere. Let's put it right there. And not too expensive either. 100 wood and 20 stone. And then for the medium stone statues, it's going to be almost a little more than double. So 200 wood and then 50 stone. And then 1,200 for the big statue here. So I want to have all of these, and I want to see how it affects our stress. There isn't a number on this guy right now that says how much it's going to affect. It just says slightly reduce the stress. So we'll see. We're at about 5. We'll see how long it stays at about 5. And then another thing that I did kind of over in here, I shuffled some things around. So we do have disasters on this playthrough, and we want to have multiple pastures for our critters. So we now currently have 2 for each of all of the critters we have. And then I did do a 7x14 pasture here, and I put buffalo in there. So I'll kind of probably work our way further this way and do a couple more of those pastures as the need rises. And we'll probably end up leveling out this mountain range right in here, just make more room for our pastures. And we're going to continue to go this way as well with our farms. Farms are looking pretty good. Food's looking pretty good, so we don't have to do that right now. I am putting in another cemetery as well. This one is about halfway full, so I wanted to have a backup for when we destroyed this one and then rebuild it. So that's what this little guy's gonna be for. So that's looking awesome. And that's about where we're at. So our tailor is almost complete. We need a couple more resources. We'll have to mark those out. Looks like we got a nursery done. So let's go ahead and I'll show you. We know seeds are available. Can't do anything. Let's go ahead and hit P and turn that off for now. Okay, and then we have that settled. And we're just kind of waiting for our forest farms to get product now. So we'll get that happening. That's gonna be really nice to finally have our own way to farm timber. That'll be a really nice thing to have. We do have this nice little area going on right in here with our forester huts. And you can see we are pulling in a little bit of timber, but it's not anywhere near what we were requiring. This is very handy to have this close to town. We are able to chop down the forest and get it replanted very, very, very quickly. Yeah, look at this. So our clothing has caught up. I saw somebody running around with a shirt over their head. So yeah, we definitely need to get this tailor fixed up really quickly. We have the laborers to deal with it, to run it, which is awesome. Really, really happy about that. And the way, of course, to get some more things is we got to chop it down. You can see that this is pretty bare out here. I have been going pretty crazy with all of the gathering here. You got to continually do it. Let's see. We need some rocks, so we'll grab these guys. And it's March, so we'll have plenty of time to gather this stuff up. I was kind of looking down over in here, and there is a lot of rock and iron right here, which would be really nice to gather up. There's also some alpaca running around right in here. So I am kind of thinking about doing a bridge. So I'm going to go ahead and lay that bridge out. We'll go like that, and we'll get our cut stone roads in place. We'll go like that. I've been trying to keep an eye on our cut stone roads. I'm pretty sure we have almost everything covered. Not all replaced. Like, these are covered with the stone roads, but you can't quite see it yet. And I think I have all the dirt roads covered. So once we get the materials, we'll be able to do it, no problem. So that'll be really great to have that happening. I'm going to make this a priority, the tailor, because we're also requiring wood here. And I did see a little thing where somebody wanted some more housing. So we're kind of running out of space. We could do a couple more houses in here, which we'll probably end up doing. And we can do probably 8 or so more in here. So I'll probably lay those out, and we'll get some more houses happening over in there. That'll be a good thing to expand our population. And we might consider moving some stuff around. It looks like I got a goofy space in here. We do. Okay. So yeah, this police station, that's right here. I need to move that. I'll move it up, and I'll put a road in there. And I'll build some more houses. That'll be a good thing. And then, yeah, this forest farm's coming along. And our tailor's coming along. And then we'll have another technology. The next technology stuff that I want to work on is going to be agriculture. So let's grab this reed. And that's going to allow us to get the reed fields. And then we can go into processing and go for knitting. And then we can start getting the knitting workshop. And then once we get the knitting workshop going, we can start to make baskets. And that will help our logistics. So a couple of things that we are kind of requiring to get to baskets. And then, of course, after baskets, we're going to go for the calcining kiln. At that point, we should have enough timber coming in to be able to fuel the calcining kilns off of our fuel factories. So that'll be great once we can get to that. Oh, and look at this. We have our first disaster on the map. Floods will inundate farmland and cause no harvest. That's a big deal for sure. We have a huge crop of food here. So almost every one of these plots is, I'm going to round up to 1,000. So let's say 6,000 food coming in. That's going to be a bad time. Let's go ahead, since we have some warning for that, let's go ahead and get another pasture or 2 started. This isn't going to be sufficient to deal with all of the food demand that we're going to need off that, but it should alleviate a little bit of the problems. Oh, and look at that. That fits in there just perfectly. Great. All right, and we'll get our cut stone roads, of course, and lie that out. Oh, lots of shirts in down here. Let's go ahead and up that. This will be great too, because we'll need more of this type of material for our rough clothing. How are we doing on leather? Not great. Okay, that's also probably part of the issue. Not a whole lot of things in reserve as far as tailoring goods. So yeah, let's get this stuff built up. We'll get some more buffalo in there, I think. I'll probably do buffalo in both. And hopefully we can get this clothing situation here figured out. That'd be really good to not have to worry about that. I'm kind of thinking that maybe we want to go a little bit more intense on our iron tools. It could be a good export for us if we have too many. I'm thinking like maybe 50 more. Let's do that. Let's go 250 on our cap. And we'll export the 50 later, and we get a little bit more money on that, get a little bit more rep with Lorenzo, all that good stuff. Another good thing to probably get would be another hunter's hut, just because they would also provide us with the rough clothing materials. And especially once we get this bridge completed, we'll be able to reach all these other critters that are over in here. Like I mentioned, the alpaca right there. And I guess I'm not seeing anything else right off the bat here. But yeah, at least the alpaca. And once we get the alpaca, we'll be able to have the alpaca over in our little farms, which would be great. We get alpaca fur, and that is yet again another good clothing piece that we will be able to utilize. So we're going to go ahead and I'll cut for just a little bit. Let's get this technology taken care of, and we'll bring you back in a minute. All right, our new batch of immigrants has arrived. Let's go ahead and accept those people, and that's going to push us over another population cap, which is great. We have agricultural proficiency +1. Or interval between citizens procreation -10. Let's do that one. I'll go ahead and grab that. Okay, so we did get the little Moa statue completed. Super awesome. And then if we go check out our city stress, we have a building buff -5%. So this little guy has done minus 5% on the city stress. Awesome. An experiment that I tried to do is build a second one. I wanted to see if they would stack. So what I mean when I say stack is so 5 for one, and then an additional 5 for the second, total 10. They did not stack, so only one of these is going to benefit you. So don't build a whole bunch of them. We only need the one for each. So I'll leave that guy there. It looks neat, so we'll leave it there. And then working our way down over in here, I put in a couple more houses. I mentioned a hunter's hut, got that on the way. We have to move our gatherer's hut over in here because we have developed our tree area. So I may even delete more of these. We don't need these as much anymore. Back up over in here, I did put in another forest farm. So let's go ahead and get that guy started up. That'll be awesome. And then we have 2 more bigger pastures ready to roll. We're kind of anticipating big problems with the flooding that is on the way here. We have a lot of food stored up, 5,000. That's looking pretty good. So we'll see the flood here shortly, and we'll see what kind of damage that's going to do to us. Another thing we're going to need is shelter. So speaking of the flood, let's go ahead and put in a shelter. I don't have a great spot for this just yet. We'll plop that in right there. Okay, so the floods have started. It looks like it's just raining for now. I don't know, since I don't normally play with disasters on, if we're going to see like water over in here or not. We'll find out shortly, I guess. And oh, okay, yep, there it is. And you know what else I didn't think about is people drowning. And it only says farmland was submerged and the crops died, but it's September, so you know, I think we may have gotten away with it. Since these are so quick, I think we got our rice in anyway, so that worked out really great. What I'm not sure about is how are we at 30 laborers all of a sudden? Oh, we just got some. All right, we're good to go. So we did have a disaster, but it really wasn't that big of a deal. So that's great. And we are also ready to get into the next batch of technologies here. And that is, of course, going to be, as we mentioned, the reeds. So let's go ahead and we'll get our reeds started up. Go to our resources tab here, and we'll find our reed fields. And I did decide to put in a little tunnel right in here. We have another mine here. This is basically just for spacing. I'll probably use that mine eventually, but I wanted to put it down so that we were ready for it when we wanted it. Let's go 1 reed field, and we'll go 2 reed fields for now. Okay, it's still raining, but we don't have any more flood problems. That's awesome. Another thing that I think I want to work on to try and keep this stress as low as possible, let's go ahead and work on another statue. This guy's only going to need 50 stone, 200 wood. We should be okay to deal with that. We have a great source of wood now, so let's go ahead and we'll get this guy plopped in right there, looking good. And we're still working on that clothing issue, obviously. Lots of shirts running around here. The problem isn't tailors. The problem is having enough raw materials. So that's another reason why I wanted to put in the hunter's hut here. Oh, speaking of which, let's add some more workers to that. Awesome. And then it looks like these guys are good to go. So I am going to demo this, get that out of there, and then let's go for another apiary for some beeswax. So we'll keep both. Another thing that we could do, the tailors can use flax, right? We can use linens. Oh, okay. So that might be something we have to divert to. I've said in our guide series before that to choose the next technology is really based on what your city needs. And at this point, we are screaming for clothing. So let's pursue some more clothing stuff. We got the reeds. We're going to go for processing. We're already talking about knitting, but maybe instead of knitting, we go for weaving instead. Let's get a couple flax fields started. Oh, I think we have flax for seeds. Let's see. We do. Excellent. Okay, so let's go ahead and we'll do that. These aren't the greatest farms yet, of course, but that's what we got. So let's go ahead. We'll do flax, and we'll do a flax. And as long as this event's going, we'll have plenty of rice coming in, and we should be okay for food. So yeah, we'll get flax. We'll get flax. We got the workers to do it. Man, we're looking really, really great. I think this will be it for this episode of Settlement Survival. I hope you have a fantastic and amazing rest of your evening, day, or night, and I hope to see you on the next episode, and I'll talk to you again soon.